Mercedes just built a 2026 engine so advanced, the FIA might have to change the rulebook just to stop it. How can a power unit be 100% legal on paper and still trigger a secret investigation before a single race is run? Today, you'll uncover the hidden design deep inside Mercedes' power unit that could unlock free horsepower and break the competitive balance of Formula One. And trust me, once you see what's behind this trick, you'll never look at preseason dominance the same way again. It started as a whisper in the paddock. Mercedes' dyno numbers were strong but too strong. Silent efficiency. Seamless deployment. A combustion profile that didn't just outperform expectations, it rewrote them. But when the FIA ran its standard tests, the power unit passed with flying colors. So how does an engine that checks every regulatory box suddenly find itself under investigation? The answer lies not in software or sensors but in the metal itself. Mercedes may have unlocked a hidden variable the FIA never accounted for: heat. Not as a problem, but as a performance weapon. At the center of this storm is one of the most subtle and potentially devastating engineering tricks ever seen in Formula One. Article C 5.4.3 of the 2026 rules caps the internal combustion engine's compression ratio at 16:1. That's the rule. But here's the flaw: it only applies under cold, static conditions. And Mercedes' engineering team, with years of experience pushing the boundary of combustion science, found a way to build a dynamic engine. One that legally complies at rest, but transforms under race heat. The chamber contracts. The ratio spikes. Power flows legally, invisibly, and instantly. Thermal expansion isn't new in engineering, but the way Mercedes allegedly weaponized it is. By choosing alloys with very specific expansion coefficients, and designing the geometry of their pistons and rods to shift shape at full operating temperatures, they've created a system that only delivers its true configuration at race pace. That means what the FIA measures in scrutineering doesn't reflect what's actually happening at 300 km/h in Bahrain. And right now, there's no regulation, no sensor, no camera, no software that can detect it. This isn't just clever. It's terrifying. Because if true, it means Mercedes has found a way to embed performance in the physical behavior of the engine, making it undetectable, unbannable, and unreproducible in the short term. Other teams are scrambling. Ferrari is testing emergency piston redesigns. Audi is months behind and doesn't have the materials pipeline. Red Bull is reportedly trying similar concepts, but struggling with heat cycling failures. Everyone else built engines to match the written rules. Mercedes, it seems, built one to defeat them. The political fallout has already begun. Technical directors from rival teams have quietly met with FIA officials. Some are demanding immediate rule clarification. Others want testing procedures updated. But the FIA is in a bind. If they act now, they risk being accused of rewriting the rules after designs are locked. If they delay, and Mercedes dominates, the season will be seen as rigged, another 2014-style blowout, powered not by software trickery this time, but by a material science breakthrough that slipped through the cracks. And the drivers? They're caught in the middle. George Russell, entering what should be the defining chapter of his career, may now be tasked with defending not just his lap times but the ethics of his engine. Kimi Antonelli, the prodigy stepping into the spotlight, could see his debut campaign overshadowed by allegations of powertrain controversy. No matter how talented they are, every result will be under a microscope. Every win will spark another round of headlines. Was it the engine? So here's where we stand. The FIA knows something is wrong but can't yet prove it. The teams know they're behind but can't replicate the system in time. And Mercedes? They're playing the long game. They've built more than an engine. They've built a question no one knows how to answer. And that's what makes this story so gripping. Because what happens next doesn't just decide who wins in 2026, it decides what's allowed in Formula One's future. Inside FIA headquarters, a debate is raging that may decide the course of the next championship and possibly the next era of Formula One. On one side, you have the traditionalists, regulatory veterans, arguing that Mercedes simply found an advanced interpretation of the rules, one that deserves respect, not punishment. After all, Formula One has always rewarded the clever, not just the compliant. But on the other side are those warning of a greater threat, that if Mercedes is allowed to race with this engine, it will destroy any sense of competitive integrity. That dominance won't be earned, it will be embedded in the combustion chamber, hidden behind expansion coefficients and thermal tolerances that the FIA cannot currently measure. This isn't theoretical anymore. Engineers from 3 rival power unit suppliers have confirmed that replicating Mercedes' alleged system would take months, and that's assuming the necessary materials could even be sourced. These aren't off-the-shelf metals. We're talking custom alloys, possibly even classified under proprietary development contracts. That means even if the loophole is declared legal, the rest of the grid won't be able to respond quickly. So the FIA faces a brutal choice: either enforce the spirit of the rule now or risk giving one team a 6-month head start in a championship designed to be reset from zero. That's what makes this so dangerous. This isn't just a battle over horsepower. It's a war over timing. The FIA wasn't ready for this level of ingenuity. The rules weren't written with thermal elasticity in mind. And the inspection tools weren't designed to track physical transformations under live race conditions. So what happens now is more than just a ruling. It's a referendum on the FIA's ability to govern a technological arms race. And if they hesitate, or worse, if they get it wrong, the consequences won't just be felt in Bahrain. They'll echo across every race, every regulation, and every future innovation. And yet, there's a growing voice among fans and analysts who believe this is exactly what Formula One is meant to be: innovation under pressure. Engineering at the edge. They argue that Mercedes didn't break the rules, they broke the assumptions. And that's the difference between a loophole and a breakthrough. In their eyes, the other teams weren't outclassed, they were outthought. And the FIA shouldn't be punishing intelligence just because it's uncomfortable. This is the same sport that once allowed double diffusers, F-ducts, active suspensions, and energy recovery units that changed the game. Why should this be different? But here's the problem. Those innovations eventually became visible. They could be measured, copied, protested. Mercedes' system, if it exists as described, is invisible. Undetectable in static conditions. Impossible to confirm without invasive teardown during peak thermal load. That's a level of stealth the sport has never dealt with before. And if the FIA lets that stand, they set a precedent that could shift future competition away from racing and toward invisible, undetectable systems hidden in the most complex parts of the car. Drivers like Russell and Antonelli are now carrying more than just title hopes, they're carrying the weight of regulatory ambiguity. Their engineers are preparing for victory. Their strategists are planning for advantage. But their press officers? They're bracing for firestorms. Because every good result will be a double-edged sword. If Mercedes wins, the headlines won't celebrate strategy or skill. They'll question legality. And that's a terrible place for a driver to be, winning, but never free of doubt. So the paddock waits. The fans wait. The media watches every move. And the FIA? They stall. Because what's on the line isn't just performance data. It's the narrative. And once that narrative takes hold that Mercedes gamed the rules, or that the FIA let them get away with it, it doesn't go away. Not in press conferences. Not in championship parades. Not in history books. And that's why this decision isn't just about 2026. It's about the credibility of Formula One itself. As the FIA deliberates behind closed doors, the rest of the grid is left in a dangerous state of limbo. Team principals are losing patience. Engine departments are burning resources on hypothetical redesigns. And the drivers, those expected to carry the brand and the burden on track, are preparing for a season that could collapse under controversy before it even begins. Formula One is supposed to be about precision, clarity, and control. But this situation is spiraling into a case study in ambiguity, and the longer it remains unresolved, the more corrosive it becomes. Everyone is watching. Everyone is guessing. And no one, not even the FIA, seems in control of what happens next. If the FIA chooses to retroactively outlaw the system, the damage will be immediate and brutal. Mercedes will be forced to tear apart their engine architecture, rebalance their chassis, recalibrate their entire deployment strategy, and revalidate months of simulation data, all while preparing for the first race of the new era. It won't be a correction. It'll be an implosion. And that punishment, even if justified in theory, will be seen by many as sabotage. A politically motivated strike against a team that simply out-engineered its rivals. The backlash could be historic, with legal threats, formal protests, and public accusations flying before the lights even go out in Bahrain. But if the FIA stands down, if they allow the system to race unchallenged, the consequences could be even worse. Because the moment Mercedes starts winning, every result will be tainted. Fans won't believe in the title fight. Rivals will race with resentment, not rivalry. And every podium, every celebration, every moment of brilliance will carry the sour taste of suspicion. That's not just unfair to the grid. It's unsustainable for the sport. Formula One thrives on tension, not imbalance. On rivalry, not resignation. And if 2026 opens with one team running away thanks to a trick no one else could copy, the viewership won't just decline, it will revolt. In the background, Liberty Media and F1 commercial stakeholders are running their own crisis scenarios. The 2026 regulation cycle was designed to reset the competitive landscape and align with global sustainability goals. It was supposed to be a marketing dream. Electric forward, cost controlled, and performance balanced. Instead, it's threatening to become a technical nightmare. Sponsors who invested in parity may find themselves aligned with irrelevance. New fans expecting drama may be met with dominance. And broadcasters who gambled on unpredictability may be forced to sell predictability disguised as racing. And then, there's the long-term damage to trust. Every sport depends on its rulebook not just being followed, but being enforced with consistency and clarity. If the FIA fumbles this decision, if they let it become a symbol of inconsistency or cowardice, it could mark a turning point for how technical governance is perceived in F1. Teams might start pushing harder into regulatory gray zones, emboldened by the precedent. Legal departments will grow more powerful than aerodynamics. And innovation will be measured not in seconds gained but in how well it can be disguised from detection. For Mercedes, this is both opportunity and gamble. If the FIA clears them, they're not just legal, they're genius. The smartest team in the paddock, once again one step ahead. But if the ruling goes against them, this could be remembered as the year their arrogance backfired. The year they built the best engine on the grid and were never allowed to use it. Their reputation, already bruised from recent struggles, would take another hit. And this time, it wouldn't be about losing. It would be about cheating the line too well for comfort. So now, we turn to you. Should the FIA intervene and stop Mercedes from using their thermally activated compression system, or should they let the innovation run and force the rest of the grid to adapt or die? That single question could define not just this season but the very soul of Formula One for years to come.